Hello and welcome to our YMCA Adaptive Recreation Volunteer Orientation. My name is Daniel Lassick, and I work as an Assistant Program Director at the YMCA South Florida in our Adaptive Recreation Department. I also work alongside with Jocelyn Lara, our Senior Program Director, and Ida Pierda, our other Assistant Program Director. And in this video, we're going to discuss behavior strategies in community settings while working with our participants with special needs. We hope you enjoy your time while watching this video, learning skills while working as a volunteer with us, or maybe you might be a student or professional that just want to increase your repertoire and skills. Thank you, and we'll be moving along. For our table of contents, we're going to discuss volunteer expectations, what to expect while working with our families, open hand policy, instruction, prompting, pre-MAC principle, praise and reward, visual schedules and timers, preventative measures. A lot of these strategies that we're going to go over are introductory. We can go into depth while explaining in person, but this is going to give a clear idea of at least how our programs are structured, what's expected of you as a volunteer, and how we manage behaviors in our program settings. So on this slide, we're going to discuss volunteer roles. It is very important to remember what's important, what your priorities are as a volunteer while helping us out in our program setting. Um, we're always going to promote an environment that is safe, inclusive, and fun. We always prioritize safety in a sense that we are always, no matter what activity or strategy that we're implementing, the participants and volunteer safety come first. We want to also make sure that all of our activities that we do are inclusive for all of our participants, no matter what ability they may have. And we can never forget that this is a recreational setting. We believe that recreation really is that magic that really helps instill new skills and creates rapport between participants um, and volunteers. If without having fun, then we feel like the learning process drops significantly, and the motivation would simply not be there the same way. So as a volunteer, it's expected for you to register through a Give Pulse. That is our platform that we use that you can view all of our events on our event calendar. You register through that way and I will contact you to arrive on time. For whatever reason, if you may not be able to arrive during our program scheduled time, then please contact whether it's me or volunteer coordinator at the moment that can assist you and we can reschedule. A lot of our programs are predetermined. We write lists on those volunteers that have signed up with us. So whenever there's a change to our schedule, it would help us out a lot if we know exactly who's going to arrive and at what time. As soon as you arrive, you can scan in. You can check in exactly when you get there, know what's expected. Our assistant program directors will go over your role and expectation of that day of who you're going to be working with and what you're going to be doing. Have transportation ready. If you're not sure how you're going to be picked up after the program or dropped off or so forth, then please try to communicate beforehand so there is no complications towards the end of our programming. Follow instructions. A lot of our volunteers, we expect them to are given specific roles and assignments. These instructions are typically given before programming starts. This is the time where we go over any of the planning stages. We go over the rosters and expectations, and we answer some questions that our new volunteers may have. So before programming starts, we go over what's expected and what's going to happen exactly that day. Now, if you have any questions about any of our specific programs, please feel free to reach out to me or any of our volunteer or assistant program directors or senior program director that would definitely be able to help you out. And last but not least, communicate with staff. At any time during our programming, when you're volunteering with us and you have any questions or you may not be sure about something, please feel free just to flag us down. We expect you as a volunteer to communicate with us at all times, whether it's something that you notice, you have a question about, or something that you may need help with. We will always be present at all of our programs, whether it's myself, or any of our adaptive recreation staff or YMCA staff, we are present and there to help you out. We understand volunteering could be confusing sometimes for in a new setting, but we want to make this as enjoyable, educational as possible for you and for as rewarding for our participants as well. All right, so on this slide, we're going to discuss what to expect while working with our families. Now, this list isn't exhaustive. We're not going to go through every single behavior, but this is just a commonality, a general guideline to keep in mind that if you've experienced this behavior while working with our participants, it's completely normal, it's expected, especially when working with those with special needs like autism and related disabilities. I'm just going to go down this list. Yeah, minimal to little eye contact, no immediate verbal response, laughing or bodily excitement, also known as stimming, direct or repetitive questions, some complaining or crying, some invasion of personal space, and echolalia. All right, so if you're talking to a participant or if a participant just walks right by you, they're not making that much eye contact. This is something that's expected with um, someone with special needs that impacts how they socialize. Yes, eye contact, saying hello, obviously is part of socializing. Socializing, what comes to mind, it may be someone who is with good empathy or social skills. They can talk to anyone at any time, answering the phone. But socializing is a lot more. It's deeper than that. It's just recognizing people, acknowledging them, knowing when to stand, when to turn around, those sort of things. Those are just different parts of intricate socializing that we do subconsciously. Our brain tells us to do, and that part of the brain may not be fully developed, or these are skills that the participants are still learning on. So this is just a few things that we could just use for to keep in mind. Okay. No immediate verbal response, meaning that if you ask them to do something, if whether they're happy or not, they may not immediately tell you. Okay. This one right here is stimming. Stimming is just essentially when they, this is just a shorthand expression for stimulating or stimulation. Okay. So if they're just laughing or clapping their hands, for example, or jumping up and down, this is something that's occurring with our participants when they just are expressing that they're excited or telling you that they're happy to be there, or even just engaging in the stimming behavior because they like how it feels. This is self-soothing. You may see some participants that rock back and forth in the programs because they're just self-regulating. This is how they keep calm. It's very similar to when we shake our legs, so to speak, when we're standing or sitting for a long period of time, we may get impatient and start tapping our foot or anything. It's similar to that, but the functions are a little different. Someone with special needs like autism may shake their leg, not because not only just to calm down, but this is something that they thoroughly enjoy engaging in, and it could be a specific um, reason, whether they like how it feels on their foot, the shoe, or maybe they like a noise that's made every single time that they tap their foot. So this is known as stimming, which is completely normal and expected when working with our participants. You may experience some direct repetitive questions. They may ask you, "What's your name?" 100, I'm sorry, I don't mean it in a sarcastic way, but like 100 times a day, they may ask you the same question. This is another form of autism and special needs. Again, the socializing aspect where they don't understand that they already asked you that question, but this is an attempt for them to build rapport and have a conversation with you. So view this as a good thing, as an opportunity for you to build rapport and relationship with them. Now, if the questioning it becomes distracting, remember that after a while, it could be the repetitive questions could be a distraction for them to actually accomplish the task. So don't get sidetracked with these questions, but also remain focused. I understand this is just something that they do um, as being related to their special needs. You may encounter some complaining, some crying, and I'm using the word some very um, I'm emphasizing the word some because it's normal for a kid to even say like, "Oh, I don't want to be here," or "I don't want to kick," or "I don't want to play games." This is something that's normal. You know what I mean? Don't give it too much attention because you may create another behavior that's undesirable. So just keep in mind that this is completely normal for some of our participants. Even those who are nonverbal, those who are still mastering the skill of speech, they may cry a little bit, they may protest. This is again normal and something that's expected while working with our participants. Some participants may get too close to you, they may invade your personal space. It's okay to take a step back or just remind them, hey, personal space, please. They may hug you from the back without even saying hello. It's okay. It's important not to react. It's important not to get aggressive or upset, but understand that this is how they socialize. And maybe this, in a way, if you feel like a little uncomfortable, if they're giving you too much hugs, and they're in your personal space too much, remind them, let them know that, hey, can you please take a step back, or personal space, please. And a simple thing, let's not make a big deal out of, nothing really. Last but not least, echolalia. This is something that you may experience working with some of our participants. It's essentially when they repeat or echo what was one of the last things or that was told or said to them. So if, for example, if you speak to Charlie and you ask Charlie, Charlie, how are you today? And then he may reply, how are you today? Now you may think, oh, he's asking how I'm doing, but reality, they're just echoing what was heard. So don't confuse an independent response with echolalia. Okay, if you say something, if you hear, and this is something when things get a little abstract, but you may have some participants who echolalia or repeat something that they've heard in the past, and don't get it confused with something that's happening at the moment. You may have a participant that, and this is actually something different. It's called scripting. You may have a participant that repeats a phrase that was told to them in the past, such as like a phrase or a movie line that from a movie they've watched over the weekend, and you may ask them, like, you're like, oh, do you want to play? And they said, oh, the tiger goes in the woods or something like that. And you're like, what's happening? So it may be confusing, but remember that this is something that you're just repeating. They're going through your head, and ensure if you're experiencing any of these scripting or echolalia, just repeat and make eye contact and call their name first, so you know that they heard you and that they're able to accomplish the task. And again, scripting is another form of stimming. This is something that they are going through their mind because it's pleasurable, it's enjoyable for them. It's like replaying or rewatching a favorite movie scene of yours, but they're doing so in their head and their mind. It's completely possible for a participant to stem and follow instructions. It's just important to make a note of the stemming, the questions, or any of these behaviors. It's important to make a note when any of this starts becoming intrusive or obstructive in the form of instruction. For example, if you want a participant to stand and play tennis, and they're following instruction, you're talking to them like, okay, stand here, swing the tennis racket, and the entire time he is reciting the movie from Avengers or whatever. So that's normal. That's okay. They could recite the entire movie script from the movie Avengers if they like, as long as they're following instruction. That's okay. Now we would encourage them to say hello and this and that, but what I'm telling you, this is normal. This is expected behavior for our participants. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to continue on the theme of expected behaviors and behaviors that should be noted. All right. So behaviors from participants that should be noted. Any form of physical aggression, inappropriate touching. Inappropriate touching can include if participants touching themselves inappropriately or anyone else, really. Screaming, eloping, undressing, progressive crying or agitation, inappropriate conversation. All right. So screaming should not be tolerated at any time. Now, if you encounter or witness or experience any of these behaviors, they should be noted. What does that mean? That this is not okay. And one of the staff members from the YMCA, whether it's going to be a program director, an assistant program director, or one of the YMCA staff members there supervising the designated area, they should be noted of behaviors that are happening or occurring. Now, a lot of these behaviors, they do stand out, and we probably take note of it. But if we don't, please, call us over, flag us down, wave your hand and say, hey, I need some help here. I think there's something going on, and we're going to go there and observe. So screaming, whether it's being playful or just for whatever reason the participant is engaging in this full-blown screaming, it's not okay. We're going to intervene and make sure that we address it as is. Eloping is just a fancy word to describe running away or moving away from a designated learning space and area. So let's say that you want a participant to be standing right next to you,
They don't, and instead they're just walking forward and going to be entering into another space. Um, that's eloping. Eloping doesn't always look the same. Eloping is not a kid taking a mad dash to the other side of a basketball court or the swimming pool and jumping into the pool, which is it's still considered eloping. But eloping could be something as simple as refusing to walk with you and leaving a workspace, leaving a workspace to just play with a toy that's 3 feet away. That is a minor elopement, but it's still eloping. So any time when a participant is not in a designated space that they need to be, that you've instructed them to stay in, it's a form of elopement. All right. And the reason why I'm describing it is because you may think that a participant is okay, for example, if they just stand 5 feet away from you compared to where they need to be. Um, when you give instruction, and we're going to explain this later on in the video, as regards to prompting and praise and reward, when you give instructing, it's important for them to accomplish that in task, that instruction in the proper method, in the proper way. For example, if you are going to be graded on how well you do your let's say swimming in a swimming class, your breaststrokes. Let's say if you're going to be graded on how well you do your breaststroke, stroke, um, and you tell your swim instructor, your teacher that's leading the course that you did a great job, an amazing job with your breaststrokes at the beach, it's not going to count. It's definitely not because you weren't at the designated location. Because now, if the swim instructor says, "Oh, great, you did it at the beach, wonderful, so check off," you're going to think from now on, from that point on, that you could do any of the strokes anywhere you want, and you still get the credit for it. So this is just a minor detail. If a participant's 3 or 5 feet away or 10 feet away, and they're doing kicks, for example, if they are expected to do some kicks and they're doing their swimming kicks on the other side of the pool away from you, this essentially is teaching them, if you reinforce this behavior, that they can do the instruction, they can do the activity anywhere they please, even away from you. And that's just going to create a bubble room for them to disobey you, to not listen, and to take charge of the lesson. And where you're no longer in charge, but the participant is. So anyway, that's why even minor eloping is important to take note of, and that the behaviors are done properly at the designated space that you gave permission to do so. Undressing, self-explanatory. For whatever reason, if a participant is undressing, let us know, speak to us. We'll step in and help out. I don't want you to try to dress them back, so to speak. This may be a case where we have to have the parents intervene. There might be maybe a reason why the participant is undressing. That maybe they feel uncomfortable, or the clothes are bothering them, or maybe it was just an accident. But in either case, do not try to attempt to dress them back yourself, but let us, one of the YMCA staff, or a parent, preferably us first, so we could speak to the parent um, in regards to that. Progressive crying or agitation, yeah, the crying or agitation, the complaining that we mentioned in the previous slide, it's just getting worse. It's not going uh, down, but it's getting higher as the lesson goes on. This is something that should definitely be made note of. Inappropriate conversation, no swearing, inappropriate topics, sexual innuendo, jokes, even repeating or scripting a joke or a music lyric that's not okay. This is something that we're not going to tolerate as well, and it should be noted. Something I want to highlight that I haven't done before in regards to parents. Parents should address all their questions towards us, the YMCA staff. Um, there are many times where the parents want to give compliments and letting you know what works with working with the kid and so forth, and that's good. However, we do have some cases where the parents may become upset or frustrated with the volunteer and they decide to speak to you guys directly. In either case, it's something that we don't tolerate. We try to address all the questions directly and personally. So if a parent's trying to speak to you and we haven't noticed yet, please make a note of it, talk to us, and we'll handle the situation accordingly. So I just want to let you know that all the questions, good or bad, we should filter out until we get a feel of the parent, so the parent knows you, because it's great that you guys build relationships with the parents. That's what, part of this is. It's not just doing the skill or the activity with the participant, but to build relationship with the family as a whole. And you can learn a lot about the participant through the family. But when starting off, when you still don't know, you're not too familiar with the families, it's okay to redirect all the questions back to us, okay, and let the parent know. Listen, that I think, or just tell us directly if you that we'll talk to the parent and we'll handle it. Okay, so now we're going to discuss an open hand policy. All right, this is something that you should really be familiar with, and this is in a way going to shape a lot of the different instructions that you give towards your participant with your time here in adaptive rec volunteering. This is something that just in the most generic, in the most general, fundamental um, form. This is what we try to aim to do with all of our programs. All right, we always try to keep everybody safe. We want to ensure that we have the maximum amount of success and also an opportunity for the kids to have fun, right? So the open hand policy is something that kind of will stick with you no matter what you do, whether it's instruction, preventative measures. Open hand policy is something that's going to be your best friend. So this is something I want you guys to be familiar with. And I'm just going to read through this. It says volunteers should use an open hand when working with our participants for majority of the time to reduce chances of injury and ensure smoother transitions. All right, so these are the goals: reduce chance of an injury and to make things easier and smoother during the lesson. The key is to use your thumb and palm over the wrist and anywhere else needed. Now, I'm going to speak about anywhere else this part later on as we go through this PowerPoint presentation, but for now, I just want you to focus on the hands, all right? This is going to be your hand while using your hand. This is the hand that we want to grab, right? The hand that you're going to use to grab is going to be this one, right? It looks like a mitten, all right? This is your palm. It is open. Now, why do I call it open palm? Because the palm is going to be the central focus for all of the movement, grabbing, and leading, so to speak. All right, you're going to use your palm for majority of the body contact. Okay, so if this is the hand that you want to grab or hold, you can use your open hand, place it over the wrist, all right, and place your thumb inside their palm. Okay, so this is how the proper technique looks. You could practice by demonstrating on your own hand, see how that feels until you could practice a few times until it becomes more natural to you. But always try to remember to use your thumb, okay, to place it inside their palm. This is going to maximize smoother transitions, control of the participant, and minimizing the risks of injury and scratch marks. Now, why do we use open palm? Because if you try to hold their hand in their fingers like this, you may put strain on their fingers if they try to move or in a jerky movement, in a sudden movement, if they try to pull away from you. If you try to hold their hands this way with your hand over their fingers, you may put some strain on the wrist, but here in the open hand policy, if you put your hands over their joint, which is the wrist here, it won't be as difficult. I mean, it won't be as easy to break free, to get hurt, and to minimize the strain and the possibility of strain on the wrist and bones. So I'm gonna watch. We're gonna I'm gonna play this video. We're gonna watch. I'm gonna pause it, and I'm gonna add some feedback as we go along. We're gonna use I'm going to be showing a class. We're going to use our hands like this. Another thing I want to make a note of, you probably can't hear what's being said on the videos of this PowerPoint, and that's okay. I wasn't intending for anyone to listen. I'm just going to provide commentary as I go, but just want to let you know that you don't have to put the volume all the way up on your phones or your computer. I'm going to explain it as we go, so you're okay if you can't hear what's being said. Um, you're going to extend your hand out like that. Perfect. So you're going to hold your hand out. I'm going to put my. So this is me holding Jordan's hand. I'm like this. Let's walk a little closer. Jordan is the participant in this case. So, okay, relax your hand like that. Perfect. And now this is a very exaggerated example. Of course, I'm just showing it for the sake of the video. I wanted to show where my hand is, where my thumb is, where my fingers are over in the plate in regards to his wrist. But that's how we hold hands with the open hand policy. Step back, just like that. Okay, relax. Close your hand a little bit. And we're just gonna walk like this. You want to show them how the wrist is? You see how natural that feels? I can move forward, backward. Okay, let go. Relax your hand. Very simple. Okay, so now we're going to demonstrate what an improper hand, open hand technique would look like. And just like how we mentioned in the previous video, closed hands, right? When you try to tighten your grip over the participant, whether you're holding your hand like this, holding the participant's wrist or their hand, this is a closed hand, right? This is something that you're putting strain on. But an open hand, this is like you have your hand open for movement, this sort of thing. You want to have your hands free to move, and also you don't want to dig your nails and your fingers into the participant's body or skin. So the open hand is really a great way to maneuver transition and to reduce risks of injury. All right. So we're gonna in this video and slide, we're gonna demonstrate improper holding hand techniques. Okay. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to put pause throughout the video just to provide feedback and commentary.
I'm gonna just grab your hand. Okay, so extend your hand out.
Jordan, once again,
Let's
is the participant, the child that we're going to
my
be
hands are
demonstrating.
Let's walk a little closer.
Now, I want you to see here that my hands are placed over his fingers. Now, normally you may think, oh, but I would never grab a participant's hands like this is strange. But when you hold somebody's hand, this is typically what we do, right? We interlock through the palms. This, in the same way, when you hold somebody's hand, you don't have your hand over their wrist, and you are leaving room for their wrist to be strained or injured in case they decide to run off or they're staying in one place. So even you leading them, walking forward, they may have some dexterity skills that need to be developed. They may have some muscle weakness that you may not know of, and you are risking injuring their muscles in the arms and hands and even fingers if you just grab them like that. So this is a simple way to ensure that with the participants we're working with, we don't know what's happening. This is going to be the safest method to use. So again, you may not think that there's anything wrong with doing this, which just comes natural to most of us when we hold hands, whether it's a loved one or family member. But while working with our participants until we get to know them and feel more comfortable. Because some participants may be okay with holding their hands the regular way, so to speak. But until you know that, and you get consent from the parents as well, I recommend everyone to use the open hand policy while working with their kids when you volunteer.
Hands over your feet. Okay. Lower your hand. Relax. Now let's take a step back. I want you to walk a little bit to the right.
Oh, oh, thank you. 8 minutes or 5 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Now stop.
Now, this is clearly just a demonstration. What would happen if Jordan or your participant decides to walk away? So let's say that you're standing still, you're not really doing anything, and we're going through introductions, right, in the beginning of the class, through warm-ups, whatever the case may be, and your participant wants to walk away. What's happening here?
There. You see? I could put
Putting
stress on
some
your words. This
strain.
is why we
You're
want to
pulling
have
on him.
focus.
He's pulling
Walk
on
a little
you.
closer to me.
Um,
Perfect.
you're
Now
just
what I
you're
want you
just
to do is
increasing the
take
risk of some
take a
injury
step back
happening.
and face the camera. Now what you're going to do is you're going to walk slowly towards the camera, okay?
Now, this is another technique that we don't want to use, is pulling. In any moment, there should never be a time that it is okay for you to pull a participant. In case it's an absolute emergency, the participant is about to fall in the water or whatever. Even in that moment, we have to be more mindful of that. We don't cause more harm than intended. So by pulling Jordan's arm here, I am obviously yanking his arm out of, by his joint, risking some sprains, some muscle injuries, and also look at the strain on myself as well. So you don't want to risk yourself from getting hurt by reaching over, pulling yourself. You may hurt your back, your arm, you may drop something. This is just something that we're not going to try to encourage. So if your participant is walking away from you in this case, in a case similar to this example, there are preventative measures that we will go through in this training. But just for the sake of this slide, we're not going to use arm pulling, body pulling, using the shirt. It's a no. We're not going to use any of that. We're not going to grab them by the wrist or the fingers. So we're going to try to keep things simple using an open hand policy, and that's the safest bet that we can use.
Grab the arm and pull back like that. That's not what we're going to do, okay?
Okay, so after we reviewed what is an improper technique for an open hand policy, this is going to be somewhat of an example in a real life situation of how to utilize an open hand policy when in a real working experience. So here, Jordan's going to be the participant again, and I'm going to demonstrate on how to prompt and
Show
how
my hands, my open hand
to use the
policy.
open hand policy.
Okay. Put my hands on the shoulders.
So I'll place one hand on his back, and the reason why I'm doing this because in this position, I have the most control at the moment for the participant. If he decides to run backwards, if he wants to move from side to side, I have the maximum control where he won't be able to move in that any other direction except for the front. So with my right arm being my strong hand, I use it in to provide guidance and it creates somewhat of a barrier for him to move forward. And this is a technique that you might be interested in using as well when a participant is having some difficulty with you leading and guiding him to a specific location. And again, as you may notice, I'm placing my hand with an open hand. I'm not grabbing him. I'm not touching it. I'm just having my hand and my forearm placed over his upper back.
Like that. So I'm gonna say, stand up. Okay, good. Hold the hand. I'm gonna show him the proper hand. Turn the wrist around. Perfect. Arm down.
Open hand is a proper technique. You see the my thumb is placed inside his palm, and now we're standing side by side.
Walk forward. Good. All right. So now we'll turn around. Turn around.
Now, if you notice, it's not always necessary to use your palm or your hand to provide some guidance. I'm only using my forearm in providing some assistance and leading him in the direction that I want him to go. So feel free to utilize your forearm if anything. This is a way to provide a body mechanic and when you want to lead him instead of just pulling him or dragging him, so to speak. So the open hand policy definitely works in these situations, but if you feel more comfortable using your forearm, um, let's say that a participant might not feel comfortable with you putting your placing your hand or your palm over their shoulder or their upper back, then feel free to use your forearm. And this is a technique that is just as useful. You may not have as much control as you would using your palm, but again, this is a completely acceptable alternative than using your open palm.
All right. Walk forward. Good. We're gonna move to the chair.
And again, I just want to note that at all times, my hand was on his upper back. I didn't step away. I didn't allow him to make his own decision, so to speak, on his own. But I was there providing prompting and assistance the entire time.
Have a seat. Good job.
With my hands open. So with my dominant arm, my hand, I was able to put it behind his back in case he decides to move in any other direction. And then with my left hand, I was just providing a gentle push, as you could tell, just in a sense, as a partial prompt, partial physical prompt for him to sit down nicely. Now, why is this necessary? Well, again, unless you worked with our participants in the past, you may understand that this could become particularly useful for those who don't want to sit down right away. Maybe they are refusing to sit and they're just having a moment to themselves. So when you provide that extra partial physical prompting assistance, you can make that transition a whole lot easier for them. Later on in this training, we're going to go over prompting and the hierarchy of how that is structured and what is appropriate at the time, depending on the moment. But here is just a simple demonstration of how the open hand policy could be used and standing, walking with the participant, guiding them, and with minimal placement of your hands over their body.
Just show my hands, my open hand.
All right, so we have reviewed open hand policy, and now we're moving into instruction. Instructions essentially are just when you give in an expectation of what you want for your participant to accomplish, all right? Now, these are just a few of the guidelines that we're going to go through. Clearly, every single participant is going to be different. This is why we always encourage to build rapport when working with your participant and your buddy, because when you get to know them, you'll know what works and what doesn't work. You know, these set of guidelines may not be specifically tailored to your participant, your friend, that your buddy that you work with. But a strategy that is essentially or particularly helpful for them. So this is just an idea or rule of basis, but regardless, the principle will stand. It's a rule of thumb. This is something that we want to use when it comes to our new participants when they have just registered with us for the first time, or maybe they haven't been in the community setting and they're just still getting a feel of things. It's important to use these guidelines to be clear, concise, and also have a visual meaning behind them. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a few of the efficient examples, some that you'll typically hear us use as the YMCA staff when we are giving instructions for our participants, and this is a way that we are able to paint a picture, so to speak, and that's when the visual aspect of the instructions come in. So when you say anything along the lines with walk, like for example, as walk with me, time for kicks, would you like a break, or simply ask break, um, yes or no questions, choices presented. This can be done visually. If you want a participant to make a choice playing between A or B games, then you could present a different choice, and that could be done through a choice board, or even simply just asking, because some of our participants do recognize the options of making different choices and decisions, and this is something that they may be familiar with. Um, Letting them know that you expect 10 kicks with their hands placed on the wall, use your name, and then count to three. For example, for our rolling kicks kickball program, one thing that we like to do is before when it's the participant's turn to kick, we like to call their name first and then count to three right before we roll the ball. This way, it gives time to prep for them to know what's expected, and it gives an opportunity for them to not feel like they missed their chance to kick, so and avoid some frustration there. This is a big one. Wait 4 seconds before giving subsequent instruction. Okay, so when it comes to verbal prompt and instructions, it's important to understand that you are giving enough time for the participant to process what's being said. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that one of your participants are on the floor. They're on the floor, they're tantruming. They're just not having a good time, and for whatever reason, they just don't want to do what you're asking them to do. And if you repeat to them, "Oh, let's stand up. How are you doing? What's wrong? No more crying. How about let's just go up, this and that." You have just overwhelmed your participant with so much information that you potentially make the situation even worse. Right? But if you want to give a clear, concise instruction, what could be simply as stand up or high five, and then you wait a few seconds, let's say 4 seconds as a rule of thumb, and before you give another instruction, now you have given time to the participant to process, understand what is expected, and this would help minimize any chances of risk of escalating the behavior. Okay? When we use the word visual, I want you to ask yourself, is the instruction that you're giving, are you able to draw it out on as a picture? Okay. If you can draw out the instruction that you're giving on as a picture, then this is a visual word that you're using as an instruction. For example, if I tell participants that yes or no, I can make a differentiation between yes and no, between two different things. Okay. Or if I can instruct the participant as in 10 kicks, hands on wall, I can draw the 10 kicks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 10, and then the hands visually on the wall. Compare that to get started. When you tell someone to get started or get ready, this is a way that you could prep them, but the instruction isn't as clear compared to telling someone, let's 10 kicks with hands on the wall. So it's important to quantify what you expect them to do. One of the things that we like to do with a lot of our programs are warm-ups. We like to warm up with as a group activity before we get started with the program. And always try to emphasize that when we do our warm-ups is to count of how many of the exercises are expected. So one of the exercises we use is to touch the sky. and or hold your hand in place. And we like to say that we touch the sky for 10 seconds and then we start counting. So if we just put our hands up in the air and begin counting, it could be confusing, and you may not have as much engagement compared to letting them know we're going to count to 10. We're going to hold our hands up and count to 10. All right. So something that's very important is always try to quantify your instructions. Make sure that you're using visual words, that you're able to describe it, so that there's less chances of distractions and confusion um, on that end. Okay. And these things take some practice. The more you do it and familiar you are, it becomes almost like a second nature. But you may have a participant that could be a little higher functioning. Their social skills and their verbal speech and expressive speech could be a little bit more developed, so they can communicate and understand what's being said. But as a rule of thumb, for if this is the first time you're meeting someone, or someone that's maybe a little overstimulated, they would need those simpler, concise um, instructions to ensure higher levels of success. Now, these examples here, again, doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. Okay. We just feel that if you try to use these um, instruction guidelines first, you may not have as much success as something with more visual context compared to these. And you can use this again if this is something that you feel that your participant is able to understand and accomplish on their own. But something along the lines such as, okay, go, keep going, or more, come to me, swim, something as basic as telling someone to swim may be hard to understand for someone who's still learning how to swim. Maybe they're swimming incorrectly and they have their head above the water and they're putting strain on the back of their neck. But when you tell them to swim, they will swim whatever that means to them, they will do it. Okay, so if you want someone to swim in a particular way, let's say the skill that you're working on is having their face in the water, you'll just tell them, all right, let's have her face down, arms out, and kick, and swim to me. That is more visual and descriptive than just simply telling a participant to swim. Repeated verbal instruction, we have gone over that. When you keep repeating yourself over and over again, it becomes overwhelming. And now the participant is just going to be overstimulated with all this new information and instruction that you've been given them for the last several seconds. An instruction with too many words, try to simplify what you're trying to tell them. If you want Johnny to stand up, Johnny's having a tantrum. Instead of telling Johnny, "Are you okay? What's wrong? Why are you crying? What do you need?" Just say something along the lines, especially when you know that, let's say that Johnny's just having a moment and he's okay. You could tell Johnny, "Okay, Johnny, let's stand up. Time for pool." Something as simple as that. It will go a long way. It will minimize any chances of increasing the duration of the behavior, and you'll be right back into the program, so to speak. All right. Instructing with no eye contact or attention. So this is something I think is very important. I've seen in the past where if you're trying to give instruction to your participant, make sure that they're paying attention. Okay. I know that one of the expected behaviors that we will experience working with our families is that they may not make consistent eye contact. However, if there's a new skill that you're trying to teach, especially something as important as a drowning prevention skill at swim buddies, you want to make sure that you have their intention. So one of the things that you want to do before you start teaching or modeling or prompting is to ensure that they're looking at you and paying attention. So one way you could do this is just by calling their name first, um, and say, let's say, Johnny, over time for kicks, look at me, and then just start teaching. All right. You don't want to have too much downtime trying to get Johnny's attention. This is where prompts come in, and we're going to mention prompts in the next few slides. But just trying to make sure your participant's paying attention. All right. If your participant is eloping, if he's moving away from the designated area, if he just seems like that, whatever you tell him, it's just not registering in a sense, then take a moment, pause, regroup, regain control, and then continue. All right. So I want you to remember that the most important thing that you want to have is control of the session. If you feel like Johnny is swimming all over the pool, for example, if you're at one of our basketball programs and Johnny is just running up and down the court, your priority at that moment is not teaching the skill, but to regain control with Johnny. All right. And that may take a few minutes, and it's okay because it's worth it at the end. If you're still trying to teach Johnny how to shoot a basketball in one of our basketball programs, but he's still running up and down the court. You're building upon something that's not that's broken, so to speak, right? You want to fix the foundation, which is always going to be having control of the session, and that's what the platform is for you to build and instruct and have a successful session. All right. So learn to use these efficient examples. Know to recognize that your participant is paying attention when you're instructing. If your participant is too distracted, there's a lot of different variables happening. Maybe there's noises, there's some toys, maybe he's just having a slow day, which is okay. It's so, not every single day it's going to be the same. Focus on that first before you move forward with the actual instruction. Right. So now that we've discussed instruction and what does it mean to give instruction and how to give instruction efficiently, now we're going to discuss another tool called prompting. Now, for those who have worked with me already in the past, you probably heard me say this more than once during any of our programming. I love prompting. I think it's really important to know how to prompt efficiently. Sorry. Um, to ensure higher chances of a successful session while working with our participants with special needs. But prompting is essentially the encouragement or persuasion that goes along with the instruction given to help increase the chances of success. With that being said, prompting is not the same as giving an instruction. Prompting is only given to ensure the success of the instruction given. All right. So in a way, it's an encouragement, a motivator, so to speak, to ensure that the prompting is successful. For example, if I'm on the floor, right? If I'm on the floor and it's because I hurt my leg, and you ask me to stand up, but because I hurt my leg, you may not be too sure if I'm able to stand up or not. So what you can do is simply just stand up with me. You can help me stand up by lifting up my arms and standing up with me. Seems like you're assisting me, but essentially you're providing a prompt for me to stand up and complete that instruction. All right. So prompting is always coupled with the instruction. All right. Excuse me. Um, Here in this chart, we have something that's called the prompt hierarchy. All right, and what's important to understand is like the more you do this, the more familiar you become with it, and it will become eventually like a second language to you. In how do you present instructions? How do you communicate with our participants in a way that encourages independence? Because that's what we're trying to do with prompting. The goal of prompting is to increase the chances of success and also to foster independence and for a participant to help accomplish the instruction by themselves. And if you notice here on the left side, we have these little tiny words that says least invasive. This starting with the least invasive level of prompting to the most invasive. And least invasive could be parallel to more independent. And I know you can't see it behind my video picture over here, but over here it's obviously it's going to say less independent. So I want you to picture this, all right? Going back to my example of let's say that I'm on the floor, my legs hurt, or for whatever reason I can't get up, and you want to make sure that I am able to stand up. Now, the goal for me to stand up is to do it on my own, independently, um, stand up, right? Without any assistance, without any prompting. Okay, so whenever you tell me to stand up, I'm able to do so on my own. Okay, now as I given you in the example, as I said in the example, I cannot do it by myself. So you had to sit down with me, pick me up, and stand up with me so I could accomplish that task. That would be considered a full physical prompt because I was not able to do it on my own. Now, when you fully physically help me stand up, obviously I did not do that independently, but I needed a full physical prompt assistance. And this is the most invasive in a sense, invasive in the sense where that it required the most help. Okay. And in order for me to finish. Now, let's say that you only tell me to stand up. And after time, my legs feel better for whatever reason, and I'm able to stand up. So the least invasive form of prompting would be just pointing to a sign, or there's a sign that says time to stand up, and I'm able to do it by myself. All right. So I'm just going to go down this hierarchy list and explain a little bit with that example. Um, I'm now I'm going to use an example and to describe how we can incorporate all of the different prompts in the prompt hierarchy. Okay, so it becomes a little bit more visual and that you can understand it in your mind. Now, I just wanted to remind you that a lot of these techniques are known to be part of the branch of psychology called applied behavior analysis, also known as ABA. So it's very possible that you are quite familiar with a lot of these different techniques and strategies, and you just don't even know what it was called. And that's why a lot of our strategies that we use here during the training and working with our children, individuals with special needs, it becomes natural. And once you're able to pinpoint it and understand the benefits, you can use it not just on everyday life, but you can use it as a tool and effectively. So that's why I like to give real life examples so it can become concrete in your mind next time that you want to implement or ensure success while working with the participants. So let's use an example. Let's say Johnny. Okay, Johnny is starting his first day at, let's say, something simple. Then we're going to use a very simple example. Let's say you're trying to teach Johnny, who's 2 years old. Okay, 2 years old, very young, and you want to teach Johnny on how to throw away his trash, right? But the issue is Johnny has never done this before. He has no idea what's expected, but you're going to try to teach Johnny in a way that makes sense. Okay. And the goal for Johnny is to throw away the trash independently, right? The goal is always to ensure that Johnny is able to accomplish the instruction independently. Okay. So the first day, there's a sign that says throw away trash, for example. Let's just say it says throw away trash. And Johnny, he looks at that sign and he's like, I don't even know. I can't even read. You know what I mean? So he has no idea what's happening. So we're going to move down the list. All right. We're going to start off with the full physical. If you want to fully physically prompt Johnny to throw away the trash, what you're going to do is essentially walk with him, hold the bag with him, guiding him, and then throw it away alongside with him. In the next slide, I'm actually going to demonstrate how a full physical prompt can be demonstrated. But this is essentially a full physical prompt that you're going to be throwing away the trash bag with Johnny. Okay? A partial physical would be if you help lift up the trash bag or open up the trash lid for Johnny. You don't do the whole activity with him, but you do partially physically help. Okay. The next step would be modeling it. Let's say that you throw away the trash bag first to show or alongside with Johnny so he can see how it's done. All right. The next step would be gestural, to essentially just pointing where the trash can is and where does it go inside the trash. All right, that's another way. That's going to be least invasive. That's called gestural, when you point or use gestures. Um, Next is a verbal prompt. You may just remind Johnny, Johnny, don't forget to throw away the trash, and he'll do it. No gestural prompt, no physical prompt, or even modeling. He knows what it means to throw away the trash at this point. You just have to remind him. And then finally, we have visual, meaning that as soon as he sees that trash, he knows instinctually to throw it away. You don't even have to say anything. And this is when he's the most independent. So keep that in mind that every single instruction, this is something important, every single instruction that we give to our participants who have special needs, the participant should be able to accomplish it. Whether we're practicing some swimming skills, kicking, running, no matter what it is, with the help of using prompting, we should be able to ensure that every single participant can accomplish the skill. whether they're able to understand it right away. We can find a way through prompting, adapting, providing more of an inclusive setting to ensure that every single participant can truly um, get involved and be included in all of our activities. Right, so now we're going to continue with our prompting demonstration. Here, Jordan is going to be our athlete, our participant, and I'm just going to start using some examples. Here, we're going to use our least to most prompting, essentially saying that I'm going to try what was least invasive to the most invasive, which will be a physical prompt, okay? Again, if you can't hear the video, don't worry about it. I'm just going to provide some commentary and pause the video along the way to explain what's happening.
I'm going to demonstrate a verbal prompt and compared to a gestural prompt and a physical prompt. Okay, here we go. So don't do anything. Jordan, pick up.
Okay, as you can tell, there's three forms of prompting that I typically like to use when working with our participants. I know in the previous slide there was about five, but the three prompts that I use are going to be verbal, gestural, gestural and modeling, which go hand in hand, and physical. Okay, so here I'm not starting with a visual. I immediately started with a verbal and a gestural. So sometimes I'm combining prompts. And for the sake of teaching, I just want you to know that this is less invasive than a partial or full physical prompt. And this is what we're going to start off as. And I also want to highlight this, that whenever a participant finishes the instruction, even if we gave a prompt or not, it is as if they themselves did it. Okay, so we have to remind ourselves, we have to remember that it's not us doing it, we're simply encouraging and helping them accomplish that task in instruction. All right, I'll give you a short example. I know I'm rambling, but just imagine all the patients that may be using a wheelchair in a physical therapy session. When when a patient has to stand up from their wheelchair and they do it alongside with the physical therapist, even though the physical therapist is helping the patient stand up, it is as if the patient himself is standing up, and they will congratulate the patient and recognize their strength and effort. So the patient, the PT, the physical therapist doesn't stop and say, well, I kind of helped you stand up, so it's not like you did anything. Not at all. So the same way prompting with our participants, we have to remind ourselves, we have to encourage them, and we have to be excited and also enthusiastic that they are accomplishing these tasks, okay? So get back to the video.
I'm going to demonstrate a verbal prompt. Jordan, pick up compared to a hand over hand gestural prompt and a physical prompt. Okay. My fingers are over his fingers, so don't do anything. Good job, Jordan.
We're trying the gestural prompt,
Pick up.
not responding.
Nothing. So Jordan is not picking up. I told him something verbally, still hasn't done it. So now I'm going to point at it.
So again, we've tried the gestural prompt, the verbal prompt. Jordan's not replying or responding. So what do? In this case, sometimes we may repeat ourselves. We may get more into the kid's face and say, Jordan, pick it up. What's going on? What are you doing? But we've tried the verbal prompt. We've tried the gestural prompt. So now we have to move towards more invasive techniques of prompting. So let's watch.
Indicate exactly where.
And the reason, sorry for interrupting, and the reason why we're moving down towards a more invasive approach, because remember, we have to ensure that Jordan, here in this example, picks up the dumbbell. That is the goal. All right. So in any case, if we say, you know what, Jordan cannot pick up the dumbbell, I've told him to pick it up, I pointed to him, he's still not able to do it. So what do? Give up and try something else? No. The beauty of prompting is that we can ensure and maximize the level of success. Whether it's a full physical prompt or not, we can try to ensure that every single instruction can be accomplished. So keep that in mind. So you don't get discouraged. If there's a form of prompting or instruction that you're trying with a participant and it's not working, then I want you to try something else and maybe you have to increase the level of prompting that you're offering.
and what you want the participant to work on or manipulate. But now I'm going to try a physical prompt. You use physical prompts to ensure success 100% of the time, okay? So I'll put my hand behind his back so I have control in case
And
Jordan
that's going to go behind his back again, because as I've discussed before, it's to ensure that he stays in the same area that I want him to be.
decides to get up, to stand, move to a direction. I have control over the situation at all times. I'm gonna lift up his hand that I want him to use, and I'll say verbally
This is where the physical prompt comes in hand, comes into play, all right?
and say, Jordan, pick up. I help by having my hand over his hand. Let's show the video. My hand is over his hand, okay? Hold on to the weight, don't let go. If I grabbed his wrist the whole entire time, what can happen? He can let it go, or he may not be able to pick it up. So to ensure that he picks it up, I do it with him. All right, let's do that one more time. Just let go.
So I don't know if you're able to hear what's being said on the video, but essentially there's a reason why I grabbed his fingers and wrapped my hand around his fingers and the dumbbell. Because if we're working with a participant who may have weaker fine motor skills or need to work on their grip strength, or it could be something that's unusual or just uncomfortable, we want to make sure that that Jordan here does not drop the dumbbell or throw the dumbbell. Because if while you're trying to perform the full physical prompt and Jordan fails to pick up the dumbbell because he dropped it, then you're not properly uh, executing the full physical prompt. Because remember, in the form, this is like an errorless teaching. Errorless teaching meaning that what you say, there should be no room for failure. So think of it. What do you have to do in a full physical prompt in this situation, for example, to make sure Jordan does not drop the dumbbell and he picks up the dumbbell as if it was instructed? So you got to keep that in mind. Whenever you perform a full physical prompt, okay, it has to ensure the success and guarantee that the instruction it could be followed.
All right. Jordan, pick up, hand over hand. He grasps it. My fingers are over his fingers. Put it down. Good job, Jordan.
Very simple. I hope that explains the prompting hierarchy, how we started with the verbal, gestural, we moved towards a partial prompt, and then a full physical prompt to ensure that Jordan is able to pick up the dumbbell. And as we start working on that, we start moving towards his independence. We'll fade away the level of prompting so he can start doing it on his own little by little. Right, so this is another tool. So we've discussed instruction, we've discussed prompting and how they go hand in hand. Now, the PREMAC principle is how you structure the instruction, so to speak. Let me explain. I'm going to read this right here. The PREMAC principle is a principle of reinforcement. All right. In psychology, that states that an opportunity to perform a more preferred behavior increases the probability of an individual engaging in a less preferred behavior. All right. The PREMAC principle is a very simple tool that encourages motivation for participants. What does this all mean? All right. So let me explain. I'm going to use an example to describe the PREMAC principle. I like to call the PREMAC principle first and then. You're going to hear me say it a lot. All right. So when would you use this principle, the first and then principle? Essentially, when you want to encourage or develop some motivation for your participant. So let's think of a scenario. All right. Let's say that there is this participant, okay, that every single time he walks onto the pool deck for one of our programs, specifically Swim Buddies, every single time this participant steps foot on the pool deck, he falls on the floor. He falls on the floor because he doesn't want to go to the swimming pool, he thinks it's too hot out, it's too crowded. He's just annoyed and he doesn't want to do it, right? So now there are different ways that we could go about it. We can prompt him with a full physical prompt, essentially saying that every single time he steps foot, And on the pool deck, we're gonna have to lift him up, prompt him verbally, and go through the whole steps. And it's not that he is not able to walk. It's because he's just refusing to go to the pool for whatever reason. He just doesn't want to do it. So now, when you understand what's going on, what you can do instead is this. This is when the pre-med principle comes in play. Let's say that Johnny, the same boy that we're using as an example, Johnny loves the movie Star Wars. Okay? He loves the movie Star Wars. So what we could tell Johnny, in order for him to stand up and follow instructions, and if he is able to understand, there's different ways to communicating this, but for the sake of for the sake of this example, we're just going to assume that Johnny's able to verbally express himself, and he's able to understand expressive speech. We'll tell Johnny, Johnny, look, first we're going to the swimming pool, and then you can watch Star Wars at home. Johnny loses his mind. He is acting like he's never seen the Star Wars movie and he's just ecstatic. So guess what Johnny's going to do now? He's going to get up on his own and finish the lesson in the pool time. So this is why first and then becomes so powerful because it helps reinforce what the preferred behavior is. Okay. Another example, I'll give you a real world example, is, I don't want to put this in a negative sense, but it's like working at a job, right? Let's say that your job could be stressful. It is something that you normally wouldn't see yourself doing on a regular basis. Let's just say that you're just in one of those jobs right now, whatever. But your position, your job pays really well. Okay. So in a sense, it's like first you have to go through your job, your workplace, but then you're gonna get that nice paycheck. So you could work through your 9 to 5 or whatever a lot easier with motivation because you know afterwards you're gonna get that nice paycheck. Okay? So the first and then principle is something that we probably use every single day of our lives without even knowing it. Whether you want to go to the gym, you try to motivate yourself, reward yourself with some good meal, whatever it is. This is something that we like to utilize in our programs as well. We're going to watch a short video, and again, I'm going to put pause along the way just to provide some commentary. So this is Grandma, and I'm just going to read it. Did you know the pre-med principle is also known as Grandma's rule? Pre-med principle has different names, but I like to call it the first and then. This is reinforcing. By the way, the word reinforcing essentially just means to strengthen someone's behavior, just to ensure that it happens again. That's what reinforcing is. So when you see the word reinforce, it just means to strengthen the likelihood of a behavior to happen. This is reinforcing a low probability behavior with a high probability behavior. All right. Some people know these as first and then. Okay, here's an example. Now we see a boy in front of a skateboard. First, it's time to clean your room, and then you could play on your skateboard. There you go. First and then. So the mom, what do you think the mom wants the boy to do? The mom wants the boy to clean the room, right? So just think about it. If you're working with our kids and there's something that you want the participant, your buddy to do, use that first. And then you got to keep in mind something that's rewarding for the child. All right? In this case, the boy just wants to ride the skateboard. Okay. Now, here's the thing. What if the mom told the boy, first you could use the skateboard and then clean the room? Do you think the boy's gonna want to clean the room afterwards? No, because he already got what he wanted. He got the skateboard. So he's thinking, there's nothing you could do to motivate me to clean this room. I rode my skateboard. I'm happy. The room could wait. But if you delay the skateboard and say, first you got to clean the room and then go skateboard, let's see what happens. First clean, then skateboard. This is something that's it's a little detailed, but I think it's important to highlight that This is how the boy remembers the instructions. Very simple, super concise. Again, this is something that is efficient for some of our participants. So just tell them something that they can remember, and that would benefit you in the long run. So the boy goes and cleans his very large bed. You did it. High five. So the boy receives the praise. We're going to talk about praise and reward afterwards in the next video. And he gets a skateboard. Look at him go. Awesome. So again, this is something we're probably all familiar with. We probably use this technique very often. Maybe we have kids of our own, or siblings, or family members, or even ourselves. What we do to motivate ourselves to even just go to the gym. Like, well, if I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to feel great afterwards. The first is going to be rough, but the payoff is going to be worth it. For whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not a morning person, but it's okay. All right, move on to. All right, so we've gone through instruction. And then we discuss prompting that goes along with instruction. We've went over the pre-MAC principle and how to structure the instruction to make it more motivating. And now we're going to discuss visual schedules and timers. Okay. Now, the visual schedule and timers is simply a tool to communicate the instruction or the first and then. Okay. Visual schedule is an effective tool used among those with autism and related disabilities. It can communicate expectations, preferences, options, and so forth. The goal of using visual schedules is to have smoother transitions. That is the goal. We want to ensure that we are not there repeating ourselves, going into a power struggle with our participants, but we want to ensure that this transition is as smooth as possible. Whether we want them to start an activity or finish one, we want to ensure that everything goes easy and smooth. Okay, for those participants, especially with autism and related disabilities, but we work with a lot of kids with autism. Transitions could be particularly hard. What does a transition mean? Essentially, it's when they start an activity and the point where they stop an activity. So if they are at the pool, for example, and you're asking them to enter the pool, that's a transition because they're uh, standing outside of the pool, arriving to the pool deck, and now they're starting a pole lesson. So these transitions may be a little difficult for some of our participants, whether it's like they're not ready to go in the water, B, there's a lot going on and they're still taking time to process, or C, it's just something that, it's a little funky for them. Or maybe they just don't want to leave the pool. That's another part of the transition. Okay. And that's why using visual schedules and timers and the pre-MAC principle can ensure these transitions can occur a lot smoother. All right. So timers can be used in this fashion as well. All right. So let me give you a short example. I'm going to play this video, and I'm just going to point at the different exercises that are labeled here. As you can tell, there's sit on edge. That's one. Kicking while sitting, facing water, and blowing bubbles. Number 4. 5, bob heads underwater. 6, kick while holding rail, swim practice. 7, float, and 8, arms scoops and kicks. Now, one thing that's really helpful is to use numbers as well, because when you count and you quantify the instruction, this is something that we discussed back in the PowerPoint slide for instructions. Counting in visuals can make things quantify. It's easier to understand for our participants. Okay. I know a participant that is highly successful when it comes to using visuals and schedules, where to the point where they may not even start the lesson, let's say swim buddies, a pole lesson, without even knowing what's expected. Okay. But once you present the visual schedule and say, let's just use the word Johnny. Johnny, look, first we're doing this, and then that, and then this and that, and just explain the whole visual schedule, it becomes a whole lot easier for them. So let's discuss timers real quick. Timers is essentially just a stopwatch, something that sets a time. So let's say a participant, okay, doesn't want to be, is ready to leave right now. They don't want to be in the pool anymore. They don't want to be at kickball, driving dunk, or whatever activity is. They don't want to be there anymore. They're ready to go home and call it a day. So to help mitigate the behaviors that you may be experiencing, whether it's him yelling, screaming, protesting, just not having a good time. What you could say is, look, Johnny, we're going to go home in 5 minutes, okay? And you set the timer for 5 minutes. Everyone is different, but in this case, Johnny is able to understand how in 5 minutes they can see, quantify how much time they're going to be waiting there until they can go home. And once that timer goes off, they're done. This is something that can ensure them to wait more patiently and calmly. So in a real world example, it's something like us, if somebody told you, hey, look, I'm going to give you, let's say you're starving, okay? You're really hungry and you're at work, okay? And you know that your lunch break is at, I don't know, 1 o'clock, okay? It's at 1 o'clock. You won't be as distraught and upset, I hope, because you know that at 1 o'clock, all bets are off. You could go take your break and eat, and you'll be able to relax, okay? Now compare that to going to work every day and not knowing when your break is going to happen. Your break could be in 5 minutes. Your break could be at the end of the day, 8 hours later. That is more stressful than knowing ahead of time and having a schedule in mind. The same way with our participants, using a visual schedule, using timers can help calm them down and relax so they can quantify and visualize what is expected for them um, to accomplish the task. All right, so now we're going to discuss praise and reward. This is something that after the instruction is completed, the participant has done a great job, they're having a great session, and you want to give them a praise or reward. We briefly discussed that. We saw a little bit of it in the YouTube video with the pre-med principal when the mom gave the little boy a high five and said, good job. This is a form of praise. But I'm going to read some of this, and we're just going to give a few examples to ensure that why do we do it and why it's important, okay? It's important to understand the function behind giving a reward. Okay? Rewards are meant to be given at the end of a desired action to increase likelihood of happening again. So again, you see how one of the main principles that we're trying to use here is motivation. We want to make sure that this behavior that just happened, that we are rewarding and very happy about, happens again. Okay, so just like with prompting, we want to ensure the independence of the participant accomplishing this task. So we also want to ensure that this behavior happens again in the future. Okay, rewards should be given to distinguish a good job done immediately after the task is done. All right, these are some types of effective rewards that we could use during our programming. High fives, verbal praises such as good job, break time. Some of our participants just want to work for a break. Preferred item, preferred activity or item. Maybe there's a game they want to play or just play with a specific toy or item. And or just maybe a completion of the activity. Their break could be simply just being done with everything that's on the list. Let's say, going back to the example I mentioned in the previous slide of the visual schedule, let's say Johnny just wants to be done with everything on their schedule. Maybe little Johnny is an overachiever and just wants to finish everything as quickly as possible. And as soon as they're finished, it brings a release of dopamine in their brain. They feel relaxed and accomplished, like they've done something amazing, which is great. I'm personally the same way. I feel more accomplished and happier and relaxed after knowing I've done had a very productive day and I knocked out everything that I was on my planner to-do list. So let's use an example. Okay, why and how can a praise or reward be used to increase a behavior and reinforce it for it to happen again? All right, and why is it important to understand the function behind giving a reward? Okay, let me just break it down for you guys with this example. Let's say this: there's a boy, okay, Johnny again, and he's one of your students, and you're trying to teach Johnny to say hello every single time Johnny steps foot. Um, I'm going to use the pool deck, I guess, because Swim Buddies is coming up. I'm just thinking about the pool deck. Uh, every single time Johnny steps foot on the pool deck, you want him to say hello to you. Okay? So one form of motivation, could be that you want to reward is a lollipop. Johnny loves lollipops. Okay? I'm not saying we're going to give our kids lollipops in our sport programs, but for this example, we are. Okay? So every single time that Johnny does say hello to you on the pool deck, you give him a lollipop. And then he gets very excited, like, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing! Like, okay, I'm going to start saying hello more often." And pretty soon, you don't even have to prompt Johnny. You don't have to say, "Oh, Johnny, you forgot to say hello," or you don't have to wave at him with a gestural prompt. You don't have to do anything because Johnny is already motivated with the praise and reward, and he knows as soon as he says hello, he's going to receive that lollipop. So I can guarantee once he understands that once he says hello, he's going to receive the lollipop, he will be more determined to say hello. Now let's talk about this real quick. Why is it important to give the lollipop to Johnny immediately after he says hello? Because let's say, for an example, that every time you see Johnny, you just give him a lollipop. Before he says hello, after he says hello, whether or not you see him on the pool deck, doesn't matter. You always give him a lollipop. Do you think Johnny's going to start learning to say hello to you on the pool deck? No, because in his mind, he's receiving this reward. He's receiving the break time. He's receiving whatever he wants at any moment. So he doesn't have to say hello. All right. So it's the same way with our participants. If you really want your participant to, let's say, work on a specific skill at swim buddies or at a game, or you want them to stay next to you, okay? If the child is not following instructions and not able to accomplish that task, and you still give them that reward, whether it's a break time or something else, a praise, and you're still engaging with them, why were they motivated to do complete the instruction in the first place if they're still going to get the reward anyway? So it's very important to give those high motivating praise and reward, when they do accomplish a task. And this is why we're going back to with the prompting. If you help somebody up out of the chair, if they accomplish, even if you do a full physical prompt with them, it's as if they did it themselves. You want to give them the praise, you want to give them the satisfaction knowing that they have completed the task on their own. All right. So this is something that's, again, it takes time to get to know our kids, build rapport, know what they like, observe them, ask the parents if you like, and just to see how you could really motivate them and reward them sufficiently so they could be happier in the long run. All right, guys, we are almost there. This is the second to last slide. We've gone over a lot of different techniques as far as how to prompt, give instruction, communicate behaviors of what to expect, what not to expect. Now, this tool, I believe, is equally just as important as all the previously mentioned techniques and tools and strategies you're going to use while volunteering with us. And it's called body blocking. All right. This is something that, a phrase you're going to hear me use a lot, or at least imply, but we will learn about body blocking as a preventative technique. Okay. A lot of if not most of the techniques that we've discussed up to this point is to initiate and communicate instruction, how to give, let's say, a command or something, how to do on our part. But for this slide and our discussion for body blocking, it's going to be more of a defensive, redirective technique. What do I mean by redirective and defensive? I only mean it in the simplest way that it's our response to prevent a behavior from happening. All right. So everything before this slide is to motivate, encourage a behavior from happening and reinforcing it. That's why we're talking about the PREMAC principle, using schedules, timers, rewards. But this is a very simple technique to prevent physical behavior from happening. All right. So without further ado, I'm just going to read through all these paragraphs, and I'm just going to explain it as I go. All right. So the goal for these techniques is always safety, as we have mentioned in the past, for the participant and yourself. We want to make sure everyone finishes our sessions on a positive note. Stay within, now these are some guidelines I'm going to just emphasize as we go along. It's important to know that always stay within arm's length for all participants at all times. It's okay to take a step back to watch and observe and supervise if it's appropriate at the moment. But typically, I would expect everyone, if they're not holding the participant's hand with open palm policy, to stay within arm's length reach. Okay, and I'm very, very big on that, especially when it comes to swim buddies. All right, I want you to be with the participant at all times, unless there's a participant that's an exceptional swimmer, or they're doing something that does not involve or would require you to be close to them. But if you're going to be paired up with a buddy during any of our programs, then I expect you to be at least an arm's length reach from them. All right. You're going to stand slightly from the back and the side, and I'm going to demonstrate that in the video how that looks and why. Watch the participant gaze to cue where they may be thinking of going or doing. Remember, a lot of our participants, their social skills are not fully developed or as developed as ours. And so you may have to rely on some nonverbal cues. If your participant is known to run and elope, okay, that's a word that I think we've already discussed. If you know your participant wants to go to the water slide, for example, and you guys are in the swimming pool, and they're positioning their body as if they are ready to take off, view that as a warning, a caution sign for you that, hey, your kid is about to run. Are you ready to to go prevent that from happening, right? We're not gonna have a game of tag on the pool day. That's not cool. The lifeguard's gonna start blowing the whistles, the parents gonna start waving their arms, and you're gonna look like what just happened. So we gotta be on the what's it called? We're observing. We're always uh playing vigilante in the sense we're watching, we're observing. We have to be key on these nonverbal cues. All right. You're watching a participant's gaze where they're looking at what direction their body is facing is very important. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, sorry about that. I was having an issue with my computer. Um, it's okay to give space. A participant understands what is expected of them to do. You're always watching, you're supervising them, especially during a break time. You don't have to always be on top of your participant. If they're having a break time in their designated area and it's been instructed to them, it's okay. Let them have a break. It's not going to be the end of the world as long as they're safe. And the more time you spend with your participant, you're going to understand and feel more comfortable giving them that break time, right? And how would that be conducive and successful for your participant in particular? Never engage in a power struggle. All right. Don't go toe to toe with our kids. You're not going to win. And I don't mean in the sense that they're going to, overpower you, but it's just not going to look good. Even, kids who get aggressive, especially our participants, it's very important that we prevent behaviors from happening, de-escalate them, and just keep it moving, because God forbid, you may have a kid under control, but if he has a whole meltdown, screams, punches, scratches, it's just not going to leave a good impression on the child, on you witnessing that, the parent. So we're going to try to de-escalate. We're going to try to prevent for anything from happening. Okay. So never engage in a power struggle. If you feel like your kid is about to tantrum or get upset, call us over. Call one of the YMCA staff, one of the program directors, assistant directors. Um, we'll help you. Okay. Even if there's a volunteer lead present, assisting the designated area, ask for help. We don't have you're not going to get more hours if you don't ask for help. No, if you ask for help, you're still going to get the same amount of hours. So, just ask for help if you feel like you need some assistance. Another thing, in regards to body language and nonverbal cues, watch the hands of your participant. If you feel uncomfortable or unsure of what the participant may do, and then this is an extreme case, if you feel like your participant is about to be physically aggressive towards you, and they may scratch, swing, pull your hair or something, keep your eyes on their hands, so in a sense, you are on guard and make sure they can't grab you by accident. Like for example, if a participant of mine is standing next to me and I know he's about to be, escalating or getting aggressive, I wouldn't, and he's known or prone to scratch or pinch, I would want to see his hands in front of me at all times. I wouldn't want his hands behind me, to the side of me, where he could just reach over and give me give me a good scratch. So it's good to be preventative and to just be observant of those possible indicators in his body language as well. Okay. Um, or even if a participant has a toy in his hand, there's something that you feel like it may cause harm to the swimmer or the buddy. If they have something that's a sharp edge, maybe a cone that's broken and nobody knew about it, and the kid may accidentally cut themselves, be aware of that. Try to help out in that moment so we can prevent things from happening. Okay. So watch the kid's hands, and in case of an emergency, if you feel like there's something that potentially is about to escalate. Okay. If ever put in a situation that a participant is aggressive, okay, try to stand behind them as quickly as possible. I'm not going to make this very complicated. Just try to stand behind them. You don't take a step back and watch them from a distance, because if you take a step back and you're facing them, and you guys are facing each other now, what can happen? He could charge at you, run, throw something in your direction, hit you, or something else. And then once they run at you, for example, or they run away in the opposite direction, now you gotta play catch and catch this your kid before they run into the street or God forbid somewhere else. I'm just using it as as an extreme case for a teaching purpose. But the more distance you are away from your kid, the more likely something else is going to happen. So what you want to do instead of walking away from them, you want to stand immediately behind. That way, they're less likely hitting you, throwing something at you, but you're close enough to not just protect yourself, but also protect the participant from potentially doing something else that could harm themselves, right? Or anyone else. And of course, you can do all of this. Meanwhile, help arrives. This is all assuming this is you've called us over and we're moving towards your direction as quickly as possible. Okay, so don't think that you're just going to handle it on your own. No, of course not. Call for help if you feel like there's something happening. If your participant has scratched you or pinched you for whatever reason or pulled your hair, let us know. Like you guys are giving your time, volunteering with us, and we really appreciate it, of course. But I think if I haven't mentioned this already in my video, but nobody, in my opinion, should ever be scratched or pinched or anything while they're helping us out. Work, volunteering, that's not okay. And I'm going to make sure I'll stand up for you guys and help you guys. And we're going to help each other out. We're going to help the participant, the family, because we want to make sure that everyone has a positive experience and see what we can do differently in the future. Okay. Um, Also, so to use the body block for elopement is to when the kids run away, stand in front of them. All right. Do not pull the participant from the back or the side. All right. So I'm going to use a soccer ball demonstrate. Now, this is especially important for those activities that have a lot of space. Let's say in a swimming pool or a soccer field, basketball court, whatever, and your child is known to elope and run away, and when they're a little distracted, um, let me ask you a question. If there's a soccer ball that's about to roll right past you, right? Um, how would you stop it? Now, if you're good at playing soccer, you could just, kick it and then move it towards you or this and that. But would you most likely be able to stop the soccer ball by standing in front of it or behind it or to the side? The answer is obvious, in front of it, because you are able to stop the momentum. The same way with our participants, the body blocking method and technique is using your body with the open hand policy, forearms included, just like I were demonstrating before, um, to look for their hands and redirect them. Or if they're moving in a certain direction, stand in front of them. That's the easiest way to stop someone from moving past you or in a certain direction. Instead of grabbing them by the arm, pulling them, calling their names 100 times, and they're just ignoring you, stand directly in front of them, and they won't be able to pass you. Okay? And now, if a kid is about to move over, let's say in the water, you guys are in the shallow end, but he's trying to move towards the deeper side of the pool where the swim lanes are, and he doesn't know how to swim. And what's worse, you don't know how to swim. So prevent it from happening. Stand in front of the participant so he can't move past you. And then redirect them and tell them, all right, first we're going to do this and so forth, whatever. Use your body, you know, block them. Don't stand away from a potential harm. If you're not sure if your participant's going to stay still, get in a direction so you can stop them from running away. For example, one more example before I get in these videos. I know I've said enough, but I hope you guys are taking all of this in. Um, if you're walking your dog, another example, right? If you're walking your dog and your dog is known to run towards other dogs, cars that drive by, you guys are on the sidewalk and your dog is known to run off to the street. What side of your dog are you going to try to walk him along with? Are you going to walk him along the side where you're by the grass area and your dog is next to the street? Or are you going to stand on the street side of the sidewalk as your dog is on your other side? If that was confusing, and put it in simpler terms, you're going to stand next to the street so your dog can't run past you. Because if you're standing by the grassy side, the dog, there's nothing stopping him from running into the street. Now, you could have a leash, but we don't have leashes here in Adaptive Rec. Okay? We rather just stand in the way and to prevent them from running away. You guys understand that? Now, I'm using soccer balls, I'm using dogs, I'm using all these examples because I want you to understand the idea of the natural, immediate um, success you will have by blocking a participant from moving in a certain direction. I said all of that just explain that. All right, now we're gonna watch the videos. We're gonna go through them. I'm not gonna say too much. I hope not. At least I always end up talking too much more than I should. But just watch the hands, and that sounded. I'm sorry, and we'll take it from there.
I did a hand signal. Start turning on. Okay, just put your hand on my shoulder. So what
All
I
right.
do is, so we're gonna practice
Oh, got excited there.
thumb, open hand policy.
All right, so here, Jordan, the participant, has placed his hand on my shoulder in an aggressive manner. Okay. I know he wasn't doing it, but I'm just saying. So imagine that there's someone putting a hand on your shoulder and they're not listening, and you don't want their hand on your shoulder. What do you do?
Right hand. Let's turn around and show the camera. Just like that.
You see how the open palm policy, open hand, open palm policy can really be helpful in numerous ways. So even here to redirect his hand, you can use the open hand policy as well.
Once you redirect, other hand connects and hand down. Just like that. And then
Super easy.
back again. And now,
Very easy.
Now I want you to try to lift up your hands.
So now we're going to stand behind him on the side. It's like what I mentioned earlier today. Now I'm at the safest point. I'm calling over the YMCA staff. Come help me. Something's happening. This is how I expect you to stand by your participant. So here I'm going to demonstrate that he is not able to hit me or hurt me when I'm standing in that position. Why do I have one arm behind his back? Because I want to control the direction he's going. If he runs forward, I will be able to stop him with my left arm. If he runs backwards, I can still stop him because my arm is already placed and blocking him. So there that you have the maximum control. All right. And if you guys are sitting down on the floor, even better. But this is the most efficient place you want to be while you're waiting for help to arrive, so to speak.
Both hands. Just like that. Put it down. Good. Lift up your
I
hands
can
again.
easily redirect with just using my forearm.
Good. Now I want you to try to touch my face with your right hand. There.
You see, so if he tries to reach out with his right
Do
arm,
that again. I want you to
easily
try to touch
blocked.
my face with that right hand. Good. Arm down. Try to touch my face with your left hand.
Now I want you to notice, again, I hope you guys don't ever have to put yourself in this situation, but it has happened in the past where volunteers has been scratched, hit, whatever. I'm just gonna have to be honest. So this is why I decided to add this slide to the training because I want to make sure you guys are equipped and safe. Just how it is. And maybe you guys could learn something new for future references, whatever that may be. But now I want you to notice that during this whole time, I'm not giving Jordan any instruction. It's very important when you're trying to de-escalate a behavior from happening. De-escalate is the opposite of accelerate, in case you guys are trying to want to figure that out. If you're trying to de-escalate a behavior from happening, unless it's appropriate. I wouldn't recommend you overly speaking to the participant who is already upset. You don't have to say much. Just wait calmly, patiently. That's what I'm doing, demonstrating with Jordan here. I'm not trying to redirect him. I'm not in his face. I'm not trying to do anything to irritate him even more. All I'm doing is waiting, protecting myself, protecting him as help comes. So keep that in mind. Don't keep talking to potentially trigger more of a behavior.
Good. Down. Now I want you to try to headbutt me. Good. Now do it again.
Can't even headbutt me. We have some kids who like to bite. That's their weapon of choice. I'm sorry, but you're safe. You're going to be most likely the safest position by standing to the side of them. All right, let's watch this video.
Redirect. Okay, try to come at me. There. Now try to do it again. Try to
Easy
both
redirection.
hands. Good. And try to redirect. Okay, good.
And I could just move him around.
So what's important is
Simple.
if I'm in the back, I'm the safest. So try to headbutt me. There. You not gonna headbutt me? Try to hit me with your arm. Arm down. Now try to turn around and face me. You see? Because I got control now. If I'm in your back, I got complete control. Now what happens if I got my back turned? Now try to hit me. See?
We want to do that.
Now I become a target, because if I'm not facing you, then I become an open target to be hit. Okay? I'm talking to you like I'm training you, bro.
So hope that was helpful. This is a body blocking preventative measure in case you ever find yourself in an aggressive situation. Um, and you know what? Just because your participant gets upset, feels uncomfortable, this does not mean that you, as a volunteer, staff, has failed in any way. It just means that there is something that made the participant feel and act in a certain way that we couldn't anticipate. All right. So using all these techniques and strategies are just that, techniques and strategies that have been proven to to help the level of success of the program. But don't think that you're going to be some superhero working with these kids. No, these are just going to help you with the process of adapting, um, having recreational based activities to ensure these skills will grow and improve. So, if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, it's not the end of the world. It's happened to all of us. We learn from them. We move forward. We talk to the families, and it's okay. So I just want to let you know that if your participant ever gets upset, let's work together. Let's see what we can do to prevent it from happening next time and to ensure we have a good time around.
I did a hand signal, so turn around. Okay, just put your hand on my shoulder. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna use my thumb, open hand policy, right here. Let's turn around, show the camera, just like that. Once you redirect, other hand, connect, and hand down, just like that. And then redirect, back again. And now I want you to try to lift up your hands, both hands. Just like that, put it down. Good. Lift up your hands again. Good. Now I want you to try to touch my face with your right hand. There. Okay, let's face the camera. Try to do that again. I want you to try to touch my face with that right hand. Good. Arm down. Try to touch my face with your left hand. Good. Down. Now I want you to try to headbutt me. Good. Now do it again.
All right, guys. So that concludes our behavior management portion of our training. Thank you so much for sticking this far. I hope that you learned quite a few techniques that you're going to apply while working and volunteering with us. Um, I wish you the best of all of your endeavors. And as long as you're able to contact me directly or any of the YMCA staff in adaptive recreation, just ask us any questions that you may have. If you want us to work with any of your schools, clubs, programs that you may be part of, yeah, we've worked with different schools in the past. So thank you again. Really appreciate it. We hope that you learned quite a few good things that you can apply. And also remember, volunteers, helpers, staff, students, colleagues, so forth, we learn best when we're having fun. So have a good time when you're with us. Don't forget that, because when you're having fun, the participant, the families, they'll notice and have fun too. Thank you and have a good one.